Hey, everybody, it's Tommy Canale, and welcome to Before the Lights podcast, the show to find out how those in sports, music, and entertainment made their mark. Today, we have a motivational speaker with international corporate audiences that include school children, university students, and professional athletes. An author who played college football at Notre Dame, and his early life was the inspiration for the 1993 film, Rudy. His media appearances include People, US Magazine, Inside Sports, NFL Films, and many others. Born in Joliet, Illinois, and the third of 14 children, please welcome to the show, Rudy Ruettiger. Rudy, welcome to Before the Lights.
Hey, it's good to be in Vegas, right?
That's right, man. We're both here in Vegas, not too far apart. Small world, both grew up in Illinois and now here in Nevada.
We could throw a rock and hit each other.
That's right. You were born Daniel Eugene Ruettiger. How did you get the nickname Rudy?
Ruettiger, from the name Ruettiger.
And who gave that to you?
Well, there was 14 of us, so they all called us Rudy. They didn't, it was hard to remember each kid's name, I guess. And hey, that's a Rudy. There you go. That's how we got it.
Your father was an oil refinery worker.
Yes.
You overcame an impoverished family. Going back to your childhood, looking back on it, what did that teach you that you're still using today?
Oh, it taught a lot. Less is more.
Very true.
Realize, and and more of your knowledge that you get is you're better off and you're stronger. And I think your mindset is what it taught you, how to develop a good mindset of what you wanted out of life, not what you can get, but what you wanted in terms of making you happy and progressive. It's just one of those times in your life you didn't have much, but you realize you had a lot. You had love, you had commitment, you had family, you had all the things that are important.
Agree with you. You attended Joliet Catholic High School in Illinois, which is a football powerhouse, and you played cornerback and had the most tackles on the team for legendary coach Gordie Gillespie. What was it like playing for Coach Gillespie?
Well, I played linebacker. I wasn't fast enough to be a cornerback. But Gillespie was an empowering type of individual. He empowered you. He never made you feel bad or always made you can get better. And that was it was a great way of coaching kids. It helped you develop the positive outlook and what a team meant instead of a division. It created the team to come together by having everybody contribute. And that's what he was about.
You joined the Navy and had 2 tours at sea during Vietnam War. I want to thank you for your service. How did this grow and mold Rudy Ruettiger?
Well, anytime you go away from home, you will grow. You find out there's a bigger world out there. It's just not Joliet going to school, going to church, and coming home, and going to work and coming home. It's much bigger. So it allowed you to look at life and reality in a much different way. Plus, you got to grow as a person. But at the same time, you always question, why are we at war? What are we doing? What's the purpose? You always question that. And the way I got away from, just serve your time and be loyal and be committed. You'll be fine. Because once you get tied up in all the goofy politics and the nonsense that's out there, you start thinking differently. So I stayed away from all that.
You applied to Notre Dame and you were denied due to your GPA. So you attended Holy Cross College in Indiana, which is across the street from Notre Dame. You wanted to go to Notre Dame so bad. Was there frustration when you first got denied the first time?
No, I expected it. The stint in the Navy taught me to do what's important right now. And what was important right now is get your grades up at the junior college. You don't need to look in the past. That's already finished. It's what you do now. So each semester was a stepping stone to relationships. The more you failed, the more you went and built a relationship with the people who were making the decision. And I committed to 4 semesters at Holy Cross, which meant you have to complete 4 semesters, and took parallel courses with the university. But I also had an anxiety to where if I wait to my junior year, they don't allow junior walk-ons at the university football. So what I had to do is go build some more relationships with the coach and other people to let them know I was coming, but I'm going to be a junior because they liked me, or they liked my character. They gave me a shot to try out. But that was based on, again, you still had that, well, what if they do let me in right away? That'd be cool. But it was all good that they didn't, because it allowed me to be a better student and better prepared for the university. So everything happened for a reason, just like football. 2 years of practicing instead of 4 years, but you still can contribute to the football team as a junior and senior. And if you work hard enough, you might get a shot to play. That was my attitude. And you did get that shot because you did work hard and did prepare. But there were a lot of downsides to that too, because you're dealing with a lot of different rules. And I mean, you go in the locker room, you see guys like Willie Fry and Ross Browner and Ken McAfee, Greg. These guys are huge. And you're saying to yourself, what am I doing here? So you kind of looked at them as brothers, like I did in the Navy, and it became a whole different perspective. So the fear factor kind of went away, and the relationships start growing, and the contribution came in. That's basically how I had to get my mindset.
Rudy, was it at Joliet Catholic, or was that Holy Cross where you were finally diagnosed with dyslexia? And how did you overcome that?
Well, Joliet Catholic didn't know what it was. Called you problem child, ADH, and you can't read or write like the other students. They said you're uncoachable. So they didn't understand dyslexia until later. No, well, the military helped discover that. And they put you in a system that you could achieve, which was your skill set. Everyone has a skill set. In school, you have no skill set according to them. If you don't get a good SATs or ACT, you're out of here. You don't get A's or B's, you're done. That was their attitude. Or if you can't go to college, you can't be anybody. That's all nonsense, as we find out. It's more the skill of a person that we can develop. We need plumbers, we need electricians, you need carpenters, you need hairdressers, you need all kinds of dental assistants. You go on and on and on. There's so many skills. Electricians, my gosh. You still have to be smart to be any of these guys. So, but in school, they kind of derailed that. They didn't develop that skill. They developed that academic side, which I thought was kind of a foolish way to teach. Mm-hmm. I'd rather teach to where someone's inspired to learn something for what they want to do. That to me is education, and you can educate better and higher on that level. When they know they want to be a doctor, they know they have to take the courses to be a doctor. They want to be an accountant, they know they have to take math and advanced math and accounting and all the important courses. So, but they were already geared up for that. But they're sticking you in there because this is what you need to graduate. That's not a good deal, because you don't want to learn that stuff anyhow. I'd rather be in wood shop making bats or making things that have. But no, they make you feel bad if you go to wood shop. That was my education, and I still think they need to do more of that today.
I don't disagree with you there. I think there definitely needs more to be done.
Yes, and maybe they're coming around to that now. They're starting to see it, because all these kids who did go to college say, hey, I got duped, I should have been learning this to be that, and learning more. Now they're coming out, which I like. They're going to school for disability learning, which is really awesome. Dyslexic teaching, all the skills you need to help students succeed. So that is changing little by little.
Before you got accepted into Notre Dame and you were attending Holy Cross, you were working as a groundskeeper on the Notre Dame campus. What do you recall about the very first time you actually stepped foot on the field at Notre Dame, even though you weren't there yet?
Well, I had to get that job in order to succeed financially at Notre Dame because I had GI Bill. You still needed extra money because my parents didn't have it. So I had to do those extra jobs to do that. Well, you felt like you belonged there when you first stepped on that. I belong here, just like the campus. I belong here. So you always had that feeling like you belong here. And that's a heck of a feeling. It's like when I walked into Hollywood, I had that same feeling. I belong here. So with that feeling, you can achieve a lot of things. You fight to keep that feeling. So that's the simplicity of it.
Were you also a boxer at Notre Dame?
Yeah, you box to be in shape.
Okay.
For football and just to get in shape. And I turned out to be a champion because you learn a lot about your abilities again. So, and it helped you get credibility with the football players because I had to box them as well. And I beat them. But also, too, I was a little older because I was military. So I had a little more wisdom, maybe, or, and, these kids are only 18, 19 years old. So you had some, maybe 4 or 5 years on them that you could use to win. But at the same time, you learn to empower these kids through your work ethic, and you earn that respect by them watching you work hard.
Did you ever consider taking up boxing full time instead of football?
No, coach. No, you only look. One, I don't like to get hit. That's but I had to do that in order to be part of something. So you got to be willing to get hit to be part of. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
You got to be willing to fail, willing to take a hit in order to be part of something you want to be part of. No, I don't want to. I didn't like getting hit, and I didn't like getting, punished on that football field. But that's what you had to do in order to be part of that.
You were a member of the scout team that helps the varsity team in practice, which cannot be fun. Were there days when you thought, man, what did I get myself into here? Or you just every day it was like that?
Every day was that thought. And you had to work your way out of it through a relationship, through either a football friend that would say, good practice, Rudy, and that kept you in the game. Or a coach said, hey, thanks for coming out. That kept you in the game. Otherwise, I would have left. But I also had a bigger goal, bigger than me, was for my father and my family. So I couldn't quit on them.
I understand that. When you got the push from the love of your family, it's hard to match that.
Yes, it really is.
Yes.
So
when the coaching change happened from Coach Parsegian to Coach Devine took over, how did that affect your outlook in your situation?
Well, wow. Great question. It actually, because the head coach could not stop me from being who I am. One, he can't stop me from working hard. Two, he can't stop me from doing anything. Only I could stop myself. So he was never, I would call that person that would stop me from being who I am. Whether I played or not didn't matter. But as long as I go to practice and be the person that I enjoyed being, that meant more than anything. So the head coach really had nothing to do with who I was. I already knew who I was. So it didn't matter how he put me. I already knew who Rudy was. Playing doesn't make you a man. It's sticking in there and not quitting is what gives you that character.
November 28th, 1975, last chance on the last home game, you got in. What went through your mind when the coach said, Rudy, you're in?
I'm glad I didn't quit. Preparation was a big key to that. I was ready then. When you prepare yourself for this moment, you're ready to go. And that's how I felt. I'm ready. And I knew I could make a difference in some way, shape, or form. And it just happened to be that. Now, you're going to get guys on the football team that don't understand that. Because one, they're entitled. Two, they're great athletes. They don't get it. You know, you're not going to sit there and explain it to them.
No.
Trust me.
No.
It'll never get through their head. All you have to do is perform what you know what to do. And your preparation paid off. And some of the guys got excited about that. One guy even gave up his uniform so I could dress, because the captain went in, and because of this rule that Dan Devine had, only 60 guys could dress at home. With error, 110 could dress. So that's why he said all seniors could dress for the final home game. That was a commitment made to all seniors, including myself. So that was a big deal. So Devine came in, and that was taken away. So that became a whole new ball game. But it also taught me not to quit. And that's why you hang around mentors and people who help you get through those, I'd say, dark times, who remind you you don't quit because it's hard. And sometimes you need friends around you to remind you of that. And that's what happened.
I'm sure you've been asked about the last play in the sack of the quarterback more times than you can count. But my question to you is, what do you remember about the very first play you were in on that kickoff? Was it just a blur, or are you just happy to be on the field, or what was going on then?
Oh, your adrenaline's so high you can run through the wall. I mean, even though you weren't the fastest guy on the team, you felt like you were the fastest, right? You just felt incredibly inspired to do something. And you felt like you could do it because your preparation just kicked in, and you go into a zone and everything goes quiet on you and everything goes in slow motion. It really does, but it's fast. But it's in your mind, you're going through the steps in slow motion, which is really cool. It's a feeling. It's hard to explain unless you get there, then you know what I'm talking about. But you'll never know if you never get there. So it's all because of that one moment you prepared for. And a lot of players have that now because they prepare for the games, and playing games is a lot easier than practice. So they rather play games than practice. And so my game was practice. Now I get to play in a real game, which was really, to me, exciting in many different ways, by the way, because one, I felt it, two, I belong here, and three, I prepared for it, and I could do this. I got this, and this is what it felt like.
You were carried off the field as the first player in Notre Dame history to do so. But when did you realize, Rudy, that those 27 seconds had changed your life?
You never knew that. What changed my life was getting to Notre Dame academically. That changed my life. Football didn't change my life. Those 27 seconds in, I was supposed to do that. It was my job to do that if I had an opportunity. But I looked at it like it took 27 years to play 27 seconds. That's a journey, right?
Yeah.
So I thought about it, and I see a movie called Rocky, and I'll start my movie. I'm kind of like, I don't write things down. I just allow things to come to me. And when they come to me, you start putting it through your mind, and all of a sudden the movie starts rolling in your head. Not because it's your movie. It's a lot of kids' movies. So you had to make it more about the message than yourself. But you had to use your platform to do that. So it became an interesting interpretation of the journey when I met the writer. So it worked, and it worked in a big way because it's a timeless story message.
Number 45, does it still have a significance to you these days?
No,
not
really. Number 4, I don't know. No, because I said, oh, well, look at Michael Jordan was wearing 45. That's cool. Oh, that guy wears 45. Oh, he's cool. Maybe in that perspective.
What was life like for you at Notre Dame after that game? And you end up being a sociology major, but what was life like on campus after that?
Oh, after the game?
Yeah.
People start recognizing you. Students did. And not only from boxing, but from football, because they're in the stands that day. And they heard about my story through the student newspaper because they interviewed me. And they were excited to meet you. They were glad for you. They thanked you. And other people that were at the game would say, wow, that's an amazing thing I just witnessed. And it just started making like a little snowball that kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I saw how that moment started changing people's mindset. in a big way, because everything is possible. That seems impossible. It is possible. And then not even knowing your story, but they felt that energy.
Rudy, was there a special moment that you can recall when you said, I'm going to sell my story and make this into a Hollywood movie?
I didn't say sell. I hired people to do this movie. I never thought of dollars or I'm going to go, it never entered my mind, because, you're going to lose more than you're going to get. So your job was to tell the story so people, like Rocky, Field of Dreams and Hooge, all those movies. Why can't I do that? And guess what? You can do that if you want to, but you have to find the right people to help you do it. So that was my job, to go find the right people. And I did.
It took 10 years to make the movie. Was there a time in there where you thought maybe this isn't going to make it to the screen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But again, it's that dream that kept you going, and the people you put around you that kept it going. Because every Thursday night, we would have a chalk talk, I call it, about how the movie's going to get and the storyline and everything. And that all changes when you meet a writer. Oh, my God. He interprets this much different than how I said it. But he took all the good elements and made a movie out of it in the moments and made the journey real. So it was a cool way how he interpreted my story.
The movie is almost 30 years old. Is there any plans for the anniversary in 2023 for the movie?
It's interesting. We're starting to name schools after me. And resource rooms, they call it intervention rooms now. I think because the kids see it and teachers are starting to see how important it is to bring this back into our schools, our spirit, and change our mindset of how education can work for you and help you. Kids hate to go to school. That's because the teachers are boring, and some are and some aren't. But kids get a taste of that one teacher that doesn't want them to succeed. He gets a bad attitude. But the teachers who want him to succeed, he gets a good attitude about school. And that's what I wanted to bring home. There's a lot of great coaches and teachers out there that keep us going. So let's focus on them instead of the bad ones, because there's going to be bad apples in no matter where you go in life. You just have to know how to deal with them. And that's the other lesson that's taught, because not everybody wants you to win. There's rules, there's laws, there's reality called reality. And you have to somewhat live in a fantasy world sometimes to make this reality work.
Rudy is known as one of the greatest moments in sports history. What is your relationship like these days with some of your former teammates?
In fact, I just got off the phone with one before you spoke, before we started speaking. It's really, he started talking about, he was a kicker. And he says, people remember me because I was in your moment. I said, Pat, you were the kicker. I said, I know, I'm so proud of that. So, yeah. And those guys you never talked to while you were there.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy because I was a junior. They already had their friends, and the freshmen are coming in as I'm a junior. And the ones who are sophomores already had their buddies. So I'm not going to become one of their buddies because I didn't come in with them. I'm an outsider coming in. And that's how they looked at you.
Did getting into motivational speaking correlate with the movie release? And what was the first time that you did that?
Yeah, that's interesting. I sold insurance for like 8 years for a company called Aon, Pat Ryan. And I would give sales meetings to where I went. And I said, I like this. It was just a preparation for my next step, which I didn't know. So when the movie finally got made, I was asked to go speak. And it was an absolute natural. So it became a natural progression for me because I was prepared again, just like the football game. So I felt very comfortable to do it.
You have several books, and I'm going to read them off and put links to them in the show notes. So folks, go there to get your hands on many copies of Rudy's books. When did you decide to start being an author and writing books?
Well, I can't write, so I get a ghostwriter. I do my writing through, I record my message and tell my story. Then they translate it, then they edit it and write the book, but they put it in my voice. And I knew on paper would be good too, to put some of this information down, how my mindset was changed and how you could do it. And those are why the stories, people love stories and people could connect to that. People don't like preaching. I don't want to preach. I want to tell a story so they could, oh, that's me. I could do that, Mm-hmm. So that's why I wrote the books. Rudy's Lesson for Young Champions, a children's book, which is a great book. Rudy's Insights, which we revised a couple of times. Rudy's Rules became Rudy's Insights. Rudy, My Story, then the documentary, that book, Ruettiger, The Walk-On. So all those books became significant in the storytelling and also in the lessons that were learned.
October 14th, 2005, you were the master of ceremonies for the Notre Dame football pep rally versus then number one USC. What did that feel like, Rudy, going back to be the master of ceremonies for this big game back at your alma mater?
I'm sitting in the tunnel. There's Joe Montana, Hall of Famer, right? 4 Super Bowls. Chris Zorich, Chicago Bear, tough guy, Outland Trophy guy, Pro Bowl guy, Tim Brown, Hall of Famer, Pro Bowl, and Rudy. And one of the ushers said, "Why is Rudy here?" I said, "What? Did he really say that?" I said, "Why is Rudy here?" Okay, so I didn't say anything at first. I walked over to him. I said, "Are you asking why I'm here?" He says, "Yeah, what did you do?" I said, "Well, to you, nothing. But to my family and all my friends and people that were inspired by a movie, I did a lot. I didn't have to win. I didn't have to become a Hall of Famer or Outland Trophy guy." I said, "You know the difference between myself and Joe Montana?" He said, "What?" I said, "They made my movie, never made his." And I walked away because I had a message of where everybody can connect to, instead of just be like Joe Montana. Not everybody can be him, but everybody can be a Rudy. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And I believe that you lived your life similar to the words that my father lived when he was alive, which is don't ever quit.
Yeah. That don't ever quit, boy. That's a hard thing to do if you don't have that purpose. If you have no purpose and no goal bigger than you, it's easy to quit. Got to have a goal bigger than you, then you won't quit.
I also understand that you have 3 words that you like, which is yes, I can.
Well, the yes, I can is everybody can do it. You just got to have that want to do it. So the yes, I can, because why not you? Why not you? You don't have to be the best looking person to be somebody, or the smartest guy to be somebody, or the fastest guy to be an athlete, but you can always be part of something and contribute to something good and help them become better. Maybe that's your answer. And that's how I looked at my life. I'm not going to be the star, but I can contribute to their success, and that makes you a good teammate.
In 2007, the College Rudy Award was formed. It was created by the Rudy Foundation that honors Division I football players who demonstrate the 4 C's, which are character, courage, contribution, and commitment. A high school award was formed in 2009 as well. What does the word commitment mean to you?
Well, it's huge. Once you commit with something, you don't go back on it. No matter how tough it is, you keep moving forward. If you commit something and you quit on it, that's going to create problems for you later on. It's going to show you it's easy to quit. But if you just get through that tough time and you don't get the results you want, but you didn't quit. That's your victory. Even if I didn't make that tackle, it was still a victory. The victory was I got to Notre Dame academically. The victory was I got on the football field. But playing was just the icing on the cake. So when you quit, you never know what's going to happen to you. That's why you don't quit.
The Rudy Foundation is to help children of all ages around the world reach full potential. And basically talking to you, Rudy, listen to what you said, is everybody's full potential is going to be different. Somebody's full potential might be, as you just said, maybe I just make my sports team, where somebody else's full potential is going to be like a Joe Montana who wins 4 Super Bowls. So I don't think you can compare your full potential to somebody else.
No, comparison is the poison of life when you compare. But if you compete with yourself and compare what you're not doing, that's the difference. What aren't you doing to become better? What if you become better each day and try to get better each day? It's no different when you go into the gym. You don't have to lift 1,000 pounds right away. Let's go a little bit at a time. And tomorrow we'll get a little bit more. And it gets bigger and better as you go. So the little things in life do pay off, and do the little goals that you succeed in makes you feel good. When I get up every morning, I make sure my bed's made. That's my first success step, because I don't want to make my bed, but you get in that habit, you create that habit, then you got the next, then it's going to lead you to the next little step that you don't want to do that you do. And you say, boy, am I glad I did that. It's not easy to do that, but you need to do that in order to condition your mindset. It's all a mindset. And I think that's why it works for me, because I don't complicate life. I simplify it. I don't get into what he's going or what she's saying. I can't control what the world's doing or that, but I can contribute to my neighborhood, to my church, to my friends, and give them a good look at what they should be doing instead of what they shouldn't be doing. If you could sit there and complain and whine, you're going to add to the misery. Do something about it. You be the good person. Take care of your family. Take care of your kids. Take care of your job. Take care of that commitment that you set. Stick to that. You'll be fine.
The website is rudyruettiger.com. There's a podcast, Rise Above with Rudy, about hope, perseverance, self-reliance, with inspiring stories. I've listened to many of them. And Rudy, I love this concept and thought that this podcast is something that needs to get out more. And people, if you haven't, I'm going to put a link in the show notes to the podcast. Please give this a listen to. The stories that you tell with the guests that you have on, as you said, are inspiring, but also it's heartfelt.
Yeah, and they've all gone through something. We all go through, even the great ones. Geez, I remember talking to the UCLA teacher and coach that coached gymnastics. She never was a gymnast. She couldn't do a flip if you paid her. But she became a national champion 10 times, her team. Why? Because she developed a winning mindset. She already knew they could do it. So she hired girls who could teach them what they're supposed to be doing for their, for how they should flip and how they should do all the stuff they should be doing. She couldn't teach that. So she hired good people around her. And that's what's the magic of Dan Devine as well. He had great coaches around him and never really micromanaged them. He allowed them to be great coaches. And he won a national championship. And his whole thing changed too, in the way of how he looked at college and professional sports, because he coached for the Green Bay Packers and he had to come back to Notre Dame. He was at Missouri before the Packers. But my whole point is, it's all about the mindset and who you put around you to develop that vision that you have. If that makes sense, it made sense for a lot of great ones and a lot of people. I was listening to the Olympics, the young lady who messed up in the slalom. She was a gold medalist and she missed the gate twice. Mm-hmm. It was her mindset. She got stuck, she said. She couldn't get out of it. Then she was so excited. A gold medalist was so excited just to finish the course. Think about that, right? It wasn't about a gold medal. she was putting too much pressure on a gold medal when she should, the joy and the love of what she's doing and where she was. And she says, that's what it came down to. And she was very excited just about finishing her last ski. I'm just, when she skied what she was happy when she got through the course. So it just tells you, you know, it's wild how you compare yourself to, there's so much pressure. I got to win another gold medal. People really don't care, you know, whether you won a gold medal or not. They want to know how much you care, you know. When they feel that, you did win a gold medal. And that's what her teammates felt. So I was happy for her that she got, I saw you saw a mindset change right in front of you.
Rudy, how does somebody change a mindset to get past hard?
Well, it's that music you listen to. It's the people you're around, the movies you watch. That's what does it. The friends you have, what you read, and the music. You need to be inspired through people. I just watched a great movie this morning called The Warrior. Man, if you watch that, it's about the UFC, two UFC kids. They were brothers. Anyhow, it's a great movie. I'm not going to give it away, but it inspired me. I got to work harder. You know, I got to get out there and have a purpose again. You know, that type of thing.
If something's inspiring Rudy, then I think it can inspire you. So you might want to check out The Warrior if he's recommending it. I would say so.
The Warrior is a great movie. It's about bringing a family back together that was divided, and they blamed each other for the longest time. And the key to their happiness was love. Watch this. It's awesome.
I'm going to watch it. Definitely now going to watch it.
The Warrior. It's on Netflix, by the way.
Rudy, thanks for taking time and being on Before the Lights. I appreciate your time. And also follow me on Instagram at Before the Lights Podcast. If you'd like to buy me a glass of wine, well, that's easy too. Go to beforethelightspod.com, click on the donate page, and you can buy me a glass of red vino. Thank you for listening to Before the Lights. I'm Tommy Canale. And until next time, everybody, I salute a chin chin.